Well, hi everyone. What I want to do is talk a little bit about plastic welding. What I want to start out by saying is I am no expert at all. I bought myself a plastic welding gun and I've sort of self-taught myself, and what I'm going to do is just try to pass on a few little tips I've picked up since I've been doing it, and hopefully it will help one or two of you out that's thinking of getting one. In the pond world, I've found it invaluable. To be quite honest, I wouldn't want to be without it now. As you may have seen my YouTube videos of me building an RDF out of plastic, it has been absolutely invaluable. Excellent buy. When I bought mine, which was quite some time ago now, I think it was just over £80. They have come down quite a bit since then, but you can actually buy these guns, not the same as this one, but you can get them for as little as £30, around the £30 mark. So they have come down and they've brought out cheaper models as they've proved so popular. But they are very good for all sorts of jobs. The one I use is the 1600 watt. It's the biggest one I saw on there at the time. This is why I think the price was about £80. It is the 1600 watt. It's very good. It warms up quite quickly and it handles whatever I've asked it to do, to be quite honest. It's very good. When you first buy the gun itself, mine came with a couple of nozzles, well, 3 nozzles. I don't use that one, that's more for the flat plastic. You get a couple of nozzles with it. You get the piece that fits on the end of the gun to fit your nozzles to. You get a spare element. If the element ever goes in here, you've got a spare. Now I've done a lot of work with this and the element's still going strong. And you get a roller. That's what comes with the gun itself. What I have done, and I do recommend people to do, you can see these what they call tacking nozzles. This is to tack the plastic for a start to hold it in place, and once you're happy with it you then move on to a nozzle to weld it. These I saw on eBay for £20, and I found a place in China that does the 3 nozzles, and you get a spare nozzle fitment for the end of your gun. These were 20 quid. They were £20. So for the price that you're going to pay for one of them, I got the 3 nozzles and a spare end fitment for the actual welding gun itself. Now my gun is what they call a thermoplastic welding torch, and the model, if anybody's interested, is DSH-D1, 240 volt, 50 hertz. And like I say, I'm well pleased with it. It's been excellent and I've done a lot of work with it. I really have. What the cheaper guns are like, the 30 and 40 pound guns, I really can't say. I've never used one. I would think they do a reasonable job. I can't see that they won't. I run mine on a setting. There's on off switch and a setting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 round the back there. I run mine between 4 and 4.5, and I find that does most jobs. Most of the jobs I've asked it to do, it's done. I don't think you want to move too quick when you're doing this welding, so I haven't turned it up any higher. I do move that a little bit slower to make sure that I get a proper weld, which suits me. I mean, it'll be down to you. Practice makes perfect. The more practice you do, the better you'll get. Get as much practice as you can. Watch every video you can find on them, which is what I did for a start, which I didn't find many, to be honest, when I started. There might be a few more out there now, I don't know. But anyway, that's the gun. That's the set of nozzles I bought for £20, and that's what comes with the gun. Now, welding rods, I tend to use either a 4 or a 5mm welding rod, and I use the triangular ones. I don't know whether you'll be able to see that, whether the camera will pick it up, but it is actually a triangular welding rod, so that the triangular part goes into the join and the flat part goes on top. The actual welding rod goes into the nozzle like so and comes out the other end. The heat from the gun and this nozzle will get hot, the rod will bend, and that's how you weld it. Just moving along, feeding the rod into the gun, and it will bend it down quite easily because obviously it's melting. Don't look to melt, absolutely melt everything together. It only needs to be hot. So don't try looking to melt everything. It doesn't need to be melted, it just needs to be hot. And this will act as an adhesive. It will totally stick, and it is a very strong joint as well. That will actually stick the two pieces of plastic together. As you'll see, I'll show you a little bit of welding. I've got some offcuts I will find, and we'll just do a little bit of plastic welding just to give you some idea. So that's how it all works. So now what we'll do is get the gun put together, get it struck up, and see if we can do a little bit of welding. Right, now on the gun itself we've got the on-off switch there, as you can see, and this is the heat setting. The only problem I do have with this gun is with my eyes. I do have to wear glasses. This isn't very easy to see. The settings could have been a little bit easier to see, but that's neither here nor there really. There's setting 4 round there, so I have it turned round to about 4.5 for welding and tacking. Usually run it about 4.5. I've never had to run it more than 5, to be quite honest. But that's how you set the temperature, and obviously that's turned off. But that's the settings on the gun, the on and off, and your temperature setting. Okay guys, what I've actually done is move you around the other side because I'm right-handed, so I shall be working from this side. But what I've got is my gun. I've got my clamp because I've got some small pieces of offcuts here. I've got a wire brush which you need to keep your nozzle clean. You want to keep your nozzle clean as much as possible. And I've got a pair of pliers for removing and fitting another nozzle, because if you want to change midstream from tacking to welding, you will have to take a hot nozzle out and put another nozzle back, so you will need the pliers to do that. And as I say, I've just got my clamp to hold. As these are so smaller pieces, it's easier to clamp it down so it doesn't move too much. But I'll get the nozzle on the gun, which we're going to start with the tacking nozzle. So I'm going to get that on there, make sure it's a good fit, like so. We'll get the gun plugged in and get it up and running, get it warmed up, and we'll have a go at tacking a few pieces of, this is 6mm polypropylene. We'll tack a few pieces of 6mm polypropylene together just to show you how things go. So we'll switch the gun on. Now it's very important you do give your gun time to warm up, and don't just switch it off whatever you do, because this is going to be really hot in here. It gets to a really high temperature in the gun. So what you have to do is when you're finished, you turn your temperature down to 0 and then give the gun a good 4 or 5 minutes to blow itself cold before you actually switch the power off. Otherwise you will damage the element without a doubt, and you could damage the heat build up in that gun without air flowing through it. Would be horrendous. So you do have to let it warm up and let it blow itself cold before you actually switch the power off. It is going to get a little bit noisy, I apologise for that, but there's nothing I can do about that. So we'll switch the gun on. As you can see, nice airflow through the gun, and then we'll turn the power up. I'm going to turn it up to about 4, which should be right. So now we'll leave that for 5 minutes. Don't forget, whatever you do, this is going to be blowing hot air out, so do make sure it's not pointed at anything that matters. Just point it into the air, because that is going to be hot air coming out of there very shortly. And we'll get ready, and I'll tack a couple of bits of this plastic. We'll tack a couple of bits together. So just give me 5 minutes for the gun to warm up, and I'll be back. Okay, now we've got our 2 pieces of polypropylene. I've just put the clamp on that one to hold it still so it doesn't move about. I've got the actual tacking nozzle in the gun. So what we're going to do is now tack this piece to the piece that's on the bench. So if we hold it roughly where we want it, start at the end, just slowly moving along, melting the two plastics together. If you're getting a lot of melted plastic down there, move a little bit quicker. If it doesn't seem to be quite welding properly, move a little bit slower. And that's it. That's that side tacked together. So now we can turn that round. And we're going to run down the other side and tack it again. So they've gone into the joint where the two meet, and just nice and gently moving along. Now this end of the bracket's going to be in the way for me to carry on that end, so all I shall do is turn the whole thing round and then tack it again from the other end. And there we go. And that's that tacked into position. Don't forget to clean your nozzle. Keep your nozzle nice and clean. Okay, so now we shall remove the tacking nozzle. We'll take that off. So I'm now going to put the actual welding nozzle, the speed welding nozzle they're called. I'm going to put the speed welding nozzle onto the actual welding gun. Like so, make sure it's right down. Now we'll give that a couple of minutes just for it to warm the nozzle up. We want that nozzle nice and warm. And then I'll get back in on the piece of plastic so you can see what we're actually doing. But we'll just give that a minute to warm up. Okay, once we've got some heat into our nozzle, we should put the rod into the gun with the lead piece facing down. Make sure we're past the end. Now we shall move nicely along, just feeding the rod in, nice and gentle. Don't rush, take your time, and once you get to the end, you just come off, let the weld slide through the nozzle, stand the knife and chop it off. And there we go. What I shall do is just show you once more. I'll turn that round. Okay. So now, starting from the end again, make sure that the flat piece is on the top. Rod into the nozzle, make sure it comes through the other end. And moving along the plastic, moving along your join just nicely, not too fast, not too slow. Make sure everything's nice and warm when it connects, and off the end. Put that off. And there you have your welded joint. Hope you can see that on the other side. And that is really strong weld. I can't break that. I can't break that no matter how I try. That's a lovely strong weld. You could just tidy it up a little bit with a Stanley knife if you want, if there is the odd blob of weld on it like that. You can just take that off. But that's how it goes. That's how you weld. How you plastic weld. And don't forget, once you've finished with your gun, turn the heat right down. Turn it right down to 0 so that the element is switched off, and now you have to leave it for 4 or 5 minutes to cool down. If you don't leave it to cool down and just switch everything off, you will actually wreck your gun. It will break the element, it will melt the gun because of the intense heat that is actually in here. If you stop the air flowing, would actually do an awful lot of damage. So you leave it to blow itself cold for 4 or 5 minutes and then you can switch the power off. Okay, what I've got here is I've got 2 pieces tacked together. I've just run along there and tacked it together. And what I'm going to do is a little bit of freehand. So there'll be no nozzles involved, just a plain gun. No nozzle on there whatsoever. And we're going to weld, or attempt to weld, a bit of freehand along there. So I'll try to keep this side so you can see what I'm doing. And what we're going to do is just warm it for a start, and warm the rod. I'll try to stay out of the way. But what you've got to do is try to get some heat into the rod itself. You'll feel it start to bend when it's ready to go. Here we go. Now just keep running the heat up and down the rod itself to keep the heat into the rod. And slowly moving along as you normally do. Running the welder up and down the rod. Keep the heat going into the rod. And moving right down to the 2 pieces we're joining together. Keep it going nice and smooth. Warming the rod all the time so that there is heat in the rod when it reaches the 2 plastics. All the way along to the end. And at the end. So then we can just nip that off with the Stanley knife, and there we have that's welded nice and tight on there. I'll just turn it round and show you once again. I'll try to keep it in a position where you guys can see it. So here we go again. A little bit of heat into the material, but get the rod in there and get some heat into that rod. I'll try to stay out of your way. You will see the rod start to bend on its own. Here it goes. Keeping the welder up and down the rod all the time. You're sort of preheating the rod is what you're doing. And as the gun stops at the bottom, the heat will go into your 2 metals. Just moving nice and steadily along. Keeping the welder going up and down the rod, the actual welding rod, to keep some heat into it. Keeping it going all the way along. Join right to the end. And there we go. And that's freehand welding. That's welding without any speed nozzles or anything on it, just a plain gun. So place the gun down, put that off, take this off here, and you can see hopefully the weld I've done along there, and the weld I've done along there. And that's totally freehand, no nozzles involved at all, just using the plain gun. And you'll find that is just as strong, can't be broken off. It's a nice, strong, thick weld, you can't break that off. A nice, tidy, thick weld all the way along. And that's how you weld freehand. So say you wanted to do a corner, two pieces on a corner. What you've got here is two flat surfaces where you're going to have to weld. The inside will be fine, you can do that quite easily. Because that is in a V, there's no problem with the inside, but the outside where you've got two flat surfaces that's going to come together, to make it easier, what I shall actually do is just take the edge off that, so that it actually gives our welding rod something to fit into. So I'm just going to take down to about halfway through with the grinder. I'm just going to grind that off. You will see me do it when I'm making the actual filter box. But I'm just going to take that corner off there to make it easier to weld before we start welding. So I'll be back in a second. Once you've got the edge off, just clean it up with a Stanley. Take all these bits of plastic off you don't want, make sure it's nice and clean and ready to weld to. Don't go right across the width of it, just take the corner off it, about 45-degree angle you want on it basically, and you will find that it'll weld a lot easier and a lot better than trying to weld two flat surfaces together. Okay. So that's that edge done. I'll see if I can get you guys in there and show you. As long as the camera will stay focused, but I've just taken that edge off. I hope you can see that along there. Now the flat piece will fit on here like so, level, so that it will leave that groove for your welding rod to go into. Right, I hope you can see that. That's the edge I've taken off. I've taken the corner off that all the way along. Only down to about half the thickness. So it was at about a 45-degree angle, the grinder was. And I've just ground that edge off there to grind it flat. So that when it comes to fitting it together, fitting the two pieces together, it will fit like so. And that leaves you a nice little groove in there for your welding rod to fit into. Now I will show you this as we go along, but what we'll do now is get it tacked first. We'll do the same, we'll tack it into position and then we'll weld it both sides. Okay, I've clamped my piece down to the actual bench. The piece is on the underside there that I've just ground off. So now I'm going to hold that up there like so, and we'll get it tacked into position. So the same again, done at a 45-degree angle, and we'll just run along that. As this is a bigger piece, I can go all the way along. We'll just run along there with the tacking nozzle, tacking it into position, all the way along. Make sure you get it all the way along, because this will help, especially if you're looking for a watertight join. That's the first chance you'll have to seal it. If you see a little bit that's not quite right, just take your gun back in and do it again. Make sure the corners are the worst bit. Wherever you get something like a corner, like so, down in that corner, make sure that it's watertight. Corners are the worst bit. So now we can take that out. I can actually turn that over so I can see it. Now you can see the underside and the gap we've left. So I want to clamp that, just clamp it down so that it doesn't move. Now you can see the groove, the actual groove, that's taking that edge off along there has left. Just move you guys Now if we've got the tacking nozzle, we'll run along this side as well, down in the groove. So right down in the groove. And this is the second chance you have at making sure that this joint's waterproof. Tacking it all the way along. Like so. Clean the nozzle. Always clean the nozzle before you remove it. So now we're going to remove that nozzle and replace it with this one, the actual speed welding nozzle. We're going to put that one in the gun. So now we can actually run along with our weld. So what I'm going to do is weld the inside first. Okay, so now we're going to run along the inside with the welding rod, and we're going to weld this together. The same as before, welding rod into the gun, make sure you're out the end. And here we go. Keeping the gun at a 45-degree angle. And off the end. So now we can actually trim that off, like so. Trim the other end off. Like I say, make sure you come past the end, you start past the end so that it makes a nice weld. So now we can go to the other side, which is the groove, where we left the groove. We can just fasten that down. Now this is where we can weld into that groove. So welding rod once again into the gun, V facing down, and here we go along that joint. And off the end. Same again, we can cut it off like so, and there we have. If you do get any bulges like that come out the side, just get your Stanley and trim them off, just to take them away. I could tidy that up a little bit more, but it's not needed. But that's your corner, all welded, outside and inside, and that should give you a nice watertight joint. And like I say, that's still quite warm, but if you try breaking that, you stand no chance. That is a good, strong, solid weld. And don't forget, always do it in a well-ventilated area, and when you're just starting out, always wear your thick gloves. But that's it. That's how the welding goes. You don't need any GCEs, O-levels. You don't need to be a professor to do any plastic welding. It's dead simple. So now I'll show you what putting a case together is like. Okay, well I've taken the paper off and got my clamps back on, so now I'm going to run the welding gun and just tack them on. I'll get the tacking nozzle in and just tack that into place. The good thing about these clamps is you can just keep tapping it about until you get it exactly where you want it. Tighten them up and then you can tack it into place. Okay, what you can see there is I've got my gun and it's warming up. I've got a wire brush to keep the nozzle clean and a pair of pliers to change it if I need to. That is the actual tacking nozzle. You can see in there, don't forget wherever you point this there's going to be hot air coming out there while it's warming up. I'm going to give it 3 or 4 minutes. With it being a 1600 watt it doesn't take long to warm up, but I'll still give it about 3 or 4 minutes, then we'll start to tack it together. Okay guys, I've got you right in there so you can see what's going on. I've got the actual tacking nozzle in the gun. So now we're going to start tacking it together. I'm not quite sure whether you'll hear me because the gun is quite noisy. I've got you in there so you can see what's going on. I'm going to hold it from the back to make sure that it is actually in line. I want it in line all the way along, and I shall hold it about 6 inches in front of the gun so I don't burn my fingers basically. So we'll start at a 45-degree angle. We'll start in there and start to move along the back of the plastic. Just melting it together nicely, moving nice and steadily along. What I'm going to do on this corner, just clean the nozzle. So now I'm going to back up and go the other way. Join it up to where I left off. So that should have it tacked together on this side. I'm now going to turn it round and do the other side. Okay guys, that's it all tacked together. I'll just rip this clamp off and now we'll get it welded properly. I've got my speed nozzle in the gun warming up. It's warming up nicely. So now let's get this thing welded up. Got my welding rod, so let's get it welded. Start just well past the corner with your welding rod so that you make sure that it goes right from the very end of the join. That can be cut off later with a Stanley knife. But moving steadily along, slight pressure, just a slight pressure on the welding rod. Don't apply too much pressure, otherwise you'll find that where the nozzle heats the actual welding rod, if you push down on this welding rod too hard, it will buckle and you'll end up with a big blob of plastic along where you're trying to weld. So not too much pressure, just take your time and then just keep going until the welding rod runs out, like so. Add your next welding rod. Make sure you do get well into the finish of the last welding rod with your new welding rod, and then through until the end. You will in time get used to how fast the gun wants to go. If you try to go too fast, the weld will be coming out too thin. If you're not going fast enough, the plastic welding rod will actually build up in the nozzle, so you'll see it coming out the sides of the nozzle. Keeping your gun at a 45-degree angle all the time, and that's got this welded one side.